Now you heard a lot about multi-tenant, all the different options to migrate, but let's do a real world check with a real world custom environment. And I would like to introduce you to Switzerland's most personal insurer and also the oldest insurance of Switzerland, Mobiliar Insurance, founded almost 200 years ago. We had done a lot of projects with Mobiliar, so I would like to show you only two of these projects. And the first one I would like to introduce you to is the project 2017, when we started upgrading from 12.102 to 12.201 with 337 databases. 82 of them were production environments. And we had already 8 container databases at this time, with altogether 350 PDBs. The number of PDBs per container database was restricted by the team to 50, mostly for administrative reasons and also because of the limitations we had in 12.102 with multi-tenant. For instance, the startup of PDBs, when you took down the entire environment, was serial. So when you had like 220, it takes much, much longer. Then goal was moving from schema consolidation to PDB consolidation and have a PDB-only architecture wherever possible, except for a third-party application environment which doesn't support the multi-tenant architecture at this time in 2017. The motivation, the driver for that was really the developers, because the DBA team was so smart. When they gave the developers a CDB environment, they put also a small debug solution on top of it. And this debug solution allowed the developers to create a PDB by themselves. Now, while a database creation could have taken up to 2 days before, it took now a minute or less. And the developers liked that so much that they really wanted multi-tenant. Plus, if you want, you can give somebody more privileges in a PDB because it's more isolated. The cost savings for multi-tenant, of course, were a big driver, and also automation. When you have just a very small DBA team, and the Mobi team is a small, very skilled but small team, you need to automate as much as possible. Otherwise, you drown at some point. And this was possible with multi-tenant. So when we went there, we went to 12.2, the regression tests were done in the freeze phases of the software. We agreed at this time on a special release update. This was the July one in 2017. We had switched already before to a dual home strategy, and the upgrades to 12.2 were done with CutCTL PL. So Mobiliar Insurance was also beta tester of our parallel upgrade tool. They included this into a homegrown shell script with, I think, 5,000 lines or something like that. And they have a performance warehouse. So the performance tests are done by the application owners. And whenever they find something, we can go back in many database environments for the entire lifetime of the database since it really got created, and find out how a specific statement has performed like 3 years ago if necessary. Now I show you one of the CDB upgrades, actually. Here we are on a Linux server with 3 terabyte of RAM and 32 CPU cores. So by default, auto upgrade chose 32 parallel workers, where 2 workers work on a PDB. So we have 16 PDBs going forward in parallel. At this time, there was no auto upgrade yet, but Mobiliar's shell script solution was one of the examples we built auto upgrade for. So the leading examples, we got that shell script and we learned from it and implemented a lot of the things into auto upgrade. At this time, we had to go the standard way. So pre-tasks with pre-upgrade char, and then the fix-ups, 13 minutes. Then the upgrade itself, now with minus N32, create a guaranteed restore point, 5 minutes, then all in one upgrade, 2 hours 46. And 32 minutes for the recompilation, and then another 6 minutes to enable local undo, because as we said before, local undo is so important on 12.2. And then the post tasks, as we said before, you are now in a new environment, you need an immediate create level 0 backup of the entire container database. Took 10 minutes, then drop the restore point, and that's it. Altogether, less than 4 hours. Now try 50 database upgrades in 4 hours. It's not so, okay, with auto upgrade, you could do that if your machine is very powerful, but this is also very, very smart actually. Now, were they successful? Of course, because we showed these slides at Open World 2017. Parallel upgrade unfolds the full power when you upgrade PDBs in parallel. And 50 PDBs in less than 4 hours, that's quite good. One very important thing to mention at Mobiliar, the big paradigm is really when we encounter issues, we fix them before go live. We test thoroughly, and so far everything runs well. If you want to read more, the Mobiliar team has its own blog, so you can find everything on the Mobiliar database blog. I was on site the last time on 2nd of October 2019, and I sat together with the team and I asked them, how is your consolidation effort now? And they looked at each other, and then everybody had a big smile on their faces, and they said, hey, Mike, since yesterday, 1st of October 2019, we have reached 100% consolidation. There is not a single non-CDB anymore in our house. That is really cool and pretty smart. So we have seen, of course, a high number in increasing PDBs, mostly driven by microservice. So microservices get hosted in the PDBs, and that works so well. So a self-developed dbus interface allows to provision ALDE or even drop PDBs. Yes, that happens. And it had been used until today to create far more than 1,000 PDBs. This is really cool, actually.